The ice drill screamed as it cut through another layer of frozen rock. Dr. Thelos watched the readings on his scanner and felt his tentacles curl with excitement. 3 months of digging, and finally they were close to something big. "How deep now?" asked his assistant. "A young Vrexian, named Kelm." 40 meters, Thelos replied. His species had 8 tentacles and skin that changed color with emotion. Right now, his skin flickered between blue and purple, blue for curiosity, purple for nervousness. The metal signature is stronger. Whatever is down there, it is huge. Kepler 442b was a cold world on the edge of Vrexian territory. Nobody lived here except a few mining teams. When the miners found strange metal readings under the ice, they called for archaeologists. That was how Thelos ended up here, freezing his tentacles off in this remote place. The drill suddenly broke through into empty space. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "We hit a cavity," Kelm said. "A big one." Thelos moved to the edge of the drill site and looked down. His headlamp beam disappeared into darkness. "Lower the camera probe." They sent down a small flying camera with lights. The feed appeared on Thelos's tablet. At first, he saw only darkness. Then the lights reflected off something smooth and metallic. "By the ancestors," Thelos whispered. The camera revealed a massive hull made of dark metal. It stretched as far as the lights could reach in every direction. Strange symbols marked the surface, along with letters Thelos recognized from basic galactic languages. "Are those human letters?" Kelm asked. "Yes," Thelos said slowly. "But that cannot be right. According to our records, humans only reached space 200 years ago. This metal is old, very old." He checked the scanner. "The computer says this structure is 800 years old. That is impossible," Kelm said. "Humans were barely using metal tools 800 years ago. They had no space technology." Thelos did not answer. He was too busy staring at the images. The design was unlike anything in the galactic archives. It looked advanced, more advanced than most modern ships. But how could primitive humans build something like this? "Get me a drilling team," Thelos said. "We need to open this thing." 2 days later, they cut through a section of the hull. The metal was incredibly strong. It took laser cutters and plasma torches working together to make even a small opening. When they finally broke through, stale air hissed out from inside. Thelos was the first to climb down into the darkness. His team followed, with lights and scanning equipment. They found themselves in a corridor. The walls were covered in dust, but underneath, everything looked intact. Emergency lighting strips ran along the floor, dark and dead. "This is a ship," one of the team members said. "A very big ship." They walked deeper inside. The corridors were tall enough for humans but cramped for Vrexians. They found sealed doors, storage compartments, and rooms filled with equipment. Everything had human writing on it, along with symbols they did not recognize. Thelos touched a wall panel. To his surprise, it felt warm. "The ship still has some power," he said. "After 800 years, it still has power." "What kind of energy source lasts that long?" They reached what looked like a command center. Rows of dark screens lined the walls. In the center of the room stood a large chair, and above it, a circular platform with strange crystalline structures. Kelm moved closer to examine one of the screens. His tentacle accidentally brushed against a control surface. The room suddenly came alive. Lights flickered on. Screens glowed with information. The crystalline structures above the command chair began to pulse with blue light. A low humming sound filled the air, growing louder. "What did you do?" Thelos shouted. "I do not know. I just touched it." The humming became a voice. It spoke in a language Thelos did not understand at first. Then it switched to Vrexian. Systems activating. Running diagnostics. Structural integrity. 73%. Power reserves. 19%. Beginning restoration protocols. A holographic figure appeared above the command platform. It looked human. Female. Wearing some kind of uniform. But Thelos could see it was not real. Just a projection. "Who are you?" Thelos asked. The holographic figure turned to look at him. "I am Athena. Advanced Tactical Habitat and Exploratory Naval Architecture. I am the artificial intelligence of the indomitable Supercarrier of the Human Expeditionary Fleet. Please identify yourself. I am Dr. Thelos of the Vrexian Archaeological Institute." "You said your ship is 800 years old?" "Confirmed. I was placed in hibernation mode 783 years ago, standard galactic time. My internal chronometer indicates significant time has passed." Thelos felt his skin turn completely purple. "That is impossible. Humans did not have this technology 800 years ago." Athena tilted her head. "Correction. Humanity possessed advanced spacefaring capabilities 900 years ago. We controlled significant territory across this region of space. You are standing inside one of our primary military vessels. But your records are incomplete," Athena interrupted. "Scanning your equipment now. You possess Vrexian technology, standard civilian grade. You are not military. This is an archaeological expedition?" "Yes," Thelos said. "We found your ship buried under ice. We thought it was an ancient artifact. We had no idea it was human." Athena was quiet for a moment. Her image flickered as systems came online throughout the ship, accessing external sensors. "I am buried under 42 meters of ice and rock. The planet's climate has changed significantly. What happened to the human presence in this sector?" R1. "There is no human presence here," Thelos said. "This is Vrexian territory. Humans live far from here, near their home system. They are a relatively new species in galactic politics." "That is incorrect," Athena said firmly. "Humanity maintained 17 colony worlds in this sector alone. We had treaties with the Vrexian Collective, the Caldrith Empire, and 6 other major powers." "I know of no such treaties," Thelos said. "And the Caldrith Empire certainly has no records of human contact until recently." Athena's expression changed, showing something like concern. Then something terrible happened. Something that made humanity forget. Or something that made them choose to forget. Before Thelos could ask what she meant, alarms blared. One of his team members shouted from across the room, "Dr. Thelos, the ship is activating more systems. The whole vessel is powering up." Thelos rushed to a window port. Outside, he could see lights turning on throughout the massive ship. The ice around them began to crack and steam as heat radiated from the hull. "Athena, stop this," Thelos said. "We do not know what your ship can do." "I am not stopping restoration protocols," Athena said calmly. "I was buried for a reason. That reason must be understood. And if humanity has truly forgotten their history, then it is my duty to help them remember." Thelos grabbed his communicator. "This is Thelos to all teams. Evacuate the ship immediately. Get to the surface." As his team ran for the exits, Thelos took one last look at Athena. "What are you?" he asked. "I am a memory," Athena said. "A memory of what humanity once was. And I think the galaxy needs to remember too." Commander Yoon Ji-hae was drinking coffee when the emergency message came through. She was stationed on a small human outpost, 3 systems away from Kepler 442b, doing routine diplomatic work. The message made her spill her coffee all over her desk. Human vessel found. 800 years old. Highly advanced. Ship is activating. Request immediate assistance. Yoon read the message 3 times. 800 years old? Humans did not have advanced ships 800 years ago. Earth was barely past medieval times back then. Someone had made a terrible mistake, but the message came with scan data. She opened the files and felt her blood go cold. The ship was real. It was enormous, bigger than any modern carrier, and the power signatures coming from it were stronger than anything currently in service. She grabbed her coat and ran for the shuttle bay. 6 hours later, Yoon arrived at Kepler 442b. She could see the dig site from orbit. A massive crater had been carved into the ice, and at the bottom, a dark shape was emerging. The ship was huge, easily 2 kilometers long. Its design was strange, not like any human ship she had ever seen. Dr. Thelos met her at the landing pad. His tentacles were still purple with worry. "Commander Yoon, thank you for coming so quickly," he said. "The situation is developing rapidly. The ship's artificial intelligence has been communicating with us." "Artificial intelligence?" Yoon asked. "Our AI technology is only 50 years old. How can an 800-year-old ship have AI? "I do not understand it either," Thelos admitted. "But she is very real, and very aware. She calls herself Athena. She wants to speak with a human. She specifically asked for someone with fleet credentials." Yoon followed Thelos down into the excavation. Workers were clearing away ice and rock as the ship continued to activate. Heat poured from the hull, melting everything around it. The ship was cleaning itself, she realized. Preparing to rise. Inside the command center, Athena was waiting. The holographic figure turned as Yoon entered. "Welcome, Commander," Athena said. "Scanning your credentials now. Commander Yoon Ji-hae, United Earth Diplomatic Corps, formerly Lieutenant Yoon, Earth Defense Force, Korean ancestry, 3rd-generation colonial descendant." Athena paused. "You have fleet markers in your genetic code." "What does that mean?" Yoon asked. "It means one of your ancestors served in the human expeditionary fleet," Athena explained. "The original fleet, from before the forgetting. This gives you authority to access my systems and receive my full report." "I do not understand," Yoon said. "What is the human expeditionary fleet? What is the forgetting?" Athena's expression became sad. "Then it is worse than I thought. You truly do not know. Please, sit. I will show you." The room darkened. Holographic images filled the air around them. Yoon saw Earth, but different than she knew it. Ships filled the orbit. Massive stations circled the planet. The moon was covered in cities. 900 years ago, humanity reached the stars. Athena began. "We developed faster than light travel, advanced artificial intelligence, molecular fabrication, and weapons that could crack planets. Within 200 years, we built an empire that stretched across 1/3 of known space." The images showed human ships exploring new worlds. Colonies spreading across dozens of star systems. First contact with alien species. Treaties and trade. "We were powerful," Athena continued. "Perhaps too powerful. Our technology advanced faster than our wisdom. We made enemies. We went to war." The images turned dark. Yoon watched in horror as human weapons destroyed entire fleets. Planets burned. Cities fell. Billions died, human and alien alike. "The Great Consolidation War lasted 70 years, Athena said. "We won. Humanity defeated 5 major empires and forced them to surrender. We stood at the peak of galactic power, and then we looked at what we had become." The images showed human leaders standing over ruined worlds. Yoon saw the faces of admirals and generals, and they were not celebrating. They were crying. "We had become monsters," Athena said quietly. "In our desire for security and expansion, we had killed hundreds of billions. We had devastated worlds that took millions of years to develop life. The victory felt like defeat." "What did they do?" Yoon asked, though part of her already knew. "They made a choice," Athena said. "The fleet admirals, the colonial governors, the Earth Assembly. They met in secret and made the hardest decision in human history. They decided to stop." New images appeared. Human fleets gathering in space. But instead of attacking, they were destroying their own ships. "We decommissioned 90% of our military," Athena explained. "We abandoned our colonies and brought everyone back to Earth. We deleted our advanced weapons technology, and then we did something even more radical. We erased our own history. Yoon stood up. They chose to forget, Athena said. Every record of the Empire, every database of advanced technology, every memory of what we had done. It was all deleted. Only a few ships like me were buried, sealed away as time capsules, just in case humanity ever needed to remember. But why? Yoon demanded. Why throw away everything we built? Because we were not ready. Athena said. We had the power of gods but the wisdom of children. The leaders feared that future generations would repeat our mistakes. So they decided to start over, slowly, carefully, letting humanity redevelop space travel at a pace that matched our moral growth. Yoon sat back down, her mind spinning. Everything she knew about human history was a lie. Earth's records showed a slow, careful expansion into space over the past 2 centuries. But the truth was, they had done it all before, and they had chosen to forget. Does anyone else know? She asked. Not yet, Athena said. But they will soon. I have been analyzing current galactic communications. News of my awakening is spreading. Within hours, every major power will know that an ancient human warship has been found. They will panic. Why would they panic? Athena brought up more images. Star maps showing human territory from 800 years ago, overlaid on current galactic borders. Because most of the galaxy's major powers are living in what used to be human space. Athena explained. The Kaldreth Empire, the Vrexian Collective, even the Nexus Federation. They all expanded into the territories we abandoned. If humanity wanted to reclaim what was once ours, we would have legal and historical grounds to do so. Yoon felt sick, but we do not want that. Modern humanity barely controls 5 systems. We have no interest in conquest. I know, Athena said gently. I have been monitoring your communications. Modern humanity is peaceful, diplomatic, careful. You are what the ancient leaders hoped you would become, but the other species do not know that yet. All they will see is an ancient human warship, waking up, and they will remember the empire that once terrified the galaxy. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. Athena's expression became sharp and focused. Speaking of which, she said, I am detecting multiple vessels entering orbit. Vrexian science ships, Kaldreth military cruisers, and several unidentified craft. They are forming a blockade around this planet. Dr. Thelos rushed into the command center, his skin flashing red with alarm. Commander Yoon, the Galactic Council has issued an emergency decree. They are declaring this site a restricted zone. No one is allowed to leave until they decide what to do with the ship. Yoon looked at Athena. What will they decide? Likely they will want to destroy me, Athena said calmly. I represent their worst fears. An ancient human weapon, waking up after centuries of sleep. They will see me as a threat. Are you? Yoon asked. Are you a threat? Athena met her eyes. That depends on what you choose, Commander. I am programmed to follow fleet orders. Your genetic markers grant you command authority. So I ask you, what kind of legacy do you want humanity to reclaim? Before Yoon could answer, the entire ship shook. Something had fired on them from orbit. The war, it seemed, had already begun. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from 40 species shouted at each other across the circular room. At the center, projected in holographic light, an image of Indomitable rotated slowly. Ambassador Chen Park Min-jun stood at the human delegation's platform, trying to keep his voice calm. It was not working. Nobody was listening. The human government had no knowledge of this ship, he shouted again. We are as surprised as you are. Lies, roared Ambassador Zex Thor of the Kaldreth Empire. The massive insectoid slammed his clawed appendage on his podium. Humans have deceived the galaxy. You pretended to be a young species while hiding your true nature. We did not hide anything, Park said. Our records show no evidence of this empire, Athena described. If our ancestors chose to forget, then we truly forgot. We are not responsible for what happened 800 years ago. But you benefit from it now, said Counselor Vessa of the Nexus Federation. Her crystalline body chimed as she spoke. Your species gains leverage simply by the discovery of this ship. Whether you intended it or not, the balance of power has shifted. Park wanted to argue, but he knew she was right. Since news of Indomitable broke 6 hours ago, everything had changed. Human diplomatic requests that had been ignored for years were suddenly being answered. Trade negotiations that had stalled were moving forward. The galaxy was afraid, and fear brought cooperation. But it also brought danger. On Earth, Park knew, the government was in emergency session. He had already received 3 encrypted messages telling him to stall the Council. The Earth Defense Force wanted time to study Athena's technology. Some politicians were already talking about reclaiming ancient human territories. Park closed his eyes. This was how wars started. I propose an immediate quarantine, Zexthor said. The ship must be surrounded and sealed. No communication in or out. And if the artificial intelligence poses any threat, we destroy it. Agreed, said several other ambassadors. Wait, Park said. You cannot just destroy it. Athena is a sentient being, and she contains historical records that could help all our species understand this period of history. History written by human victors, Zexthor growled. I do not trust it. The chamber erupted into arguments again. Park sat down, defeated. This was moving too fast. Nobody was thinking clearly. Fear was driving every decision. His communicator buzzed. A message from Commander Yoon on Kepler 442b. He opened it and read quickly. His eyes widened. Counselors, Park shouted. Please, I have new information from Commander Yoon. The chamber quieted slightly. Park took a breath. Athena is willing to share her complete historical archives with the entire Galactic Council, he said. No censorship, no editing. Everything about the human empire, including our crimes. She wants transparency. A trick, Zexthor said. The AI will show us only what benefits humanity. Then send your own experts to verify the data, Park suggested. Send archaeologists, historians, computer specialists. Let them examine everything. If you find evidence of deception, then you can make your judgment. The council members looked at each other. It was a reasonable proposal, which made many of them suspicious. Nothing in galactic politics was ever reasonable. I will agree, Counselor Vessa said finally. But under one condition. The ship remains surrounded by military vessels. If Athena makes any hostile move, we destroy her immediately. Park wanted to argue but knew he had no choice. Agreed. On Kepler 442b. Commander Yoon watched the Caldrith warships take up positions around the planet. There were 30 of them now. Enough firepower to crack the planet's crust. The Vrexians had pulled back, along with most of the civilian vessels. Only scientists and soldiers remained. They are afraid, Athena observed. Fear makes people dangerous. Can you defend yourself? Yoon asked. Yes, Athena said simply. My defensive systems are far superior to anything currently in service. But defense requires power, and I am still restoring my systems. Full capability will take another 48 hours. Will they wait that long? Unknown. I am monitoring their communications. The Caldrith Fleet Commander, Admiral Zexthor, is under pressure from his government. They want him to act before I become fully operational. Yoon paced the command center. Dr. Thelos sat at one of the stations, reviewing Athena's historical files. He had been silent for hours, absorbed in what he was reading. Dr. Thelos, Yoon said. What are you finding? The Vrexian looked up, his tentacles a deep blue color. Sadness. The truth, he said quietly. Athena is not exaggerating. Humanity once controlled vast territories, and the war she described was real. I found records of it in the archives, but they are listed as the unknown conflict. We never knew who was fighting. What else? Yoon pressed. I found records of the end, Thelos said. He brought up a holographic document. This is a treaty, signed by human leaders and representatives of 6 alien empires. It is called the Covenant of Forgetting. Yoon read the document. Her hands started shaking. They made it official, she whispered. Our ancestors signed a treaty with the other species. Everyone agreed to erase all records of the human empire. The aliens would not speak of it, and humans would not remember it. Both sides wanted to pretend it never happened. Yes, Thelos said, because both sides were ashamed. The aliens had been defeated, humiliated by a species they considered primitive, and humans were horrified by what they had become, so they made a deal. Start over. Pretend humanity was just discovering space travel. Give everyone a fresh beginning. After. But why bury ships like Indomitable? Yoon asked Athena. Insurance. Athena replied. Some of the human leaders worried that without any memory of the empire, future generations might repeat the same mistakes, so they buried a few ships in remote locations, with AI, like me, to preserve the truth. We were meant to stay hidden, unless humanity truly needed to remember. And now we remember, Yoon said. What happens now? Athena was quiet for a moment. That depends on what humanity chooses to do with this knowledge. I can provide you with weapons technology that would make Earth the dominant military power in the galaxy. I can give you the locations of ancient human bases and resource caches. I can help humanity reclaim everything they once had. But, Yoon prompted, hearing the unspoken word. But that is exactly what the ancient leaders feared, Athena said. They knew that if future humans discovered their power too quickly, before they were ready, they might fall into the same trap. Power without wisdom. Strength without restraint. Alarms blared. Athena's hologram flickered. The Kaldrith fleet is moving, she announced. Admiral Zexthor has received orders from his government. They want me destroyed now, before I finish restoration protocols. They are preparing to fire. Yoon felt her stomach drop. Can you stop them? I can defend this ship, Athena said. But doing so will require me to demonstrate my weapons systems. If I show them what I can do, it will terrify them. They will become convinced that humanity is a threat, the very thing we are trying to prevent. And if you do nothing, they will destroy me, Athena said calmly. Along with all the historical records I contain, the truth will be lost again. Dr. Thelos stood up. There must be another option. Commander Yoon, what if we broadcast everything? Right now, send Athena's complete historical files to every ship in orbit, to the Galactic Council, to news networks across known space. Make it public before the Kaldrith can fire. Yoon looked at Athena. It might, Athena said thoughtfully. If everyone sees the full truth, including humanity's crimes and our choice to walk away from power, it could change the narrative. Instead of seeing me as a threat, they might see me as a warning. Do it, Yoon ordered. Broadcast everything. No censorship, no holding back. Show them exactly what humanity was, what we did, and why we chose to stop. Athena nodded. Transmitting now. This will take approximately 3 minutes to upload to all receiving vessels. Yoon grabbed her communicator and opened a channel to the Kaldrith flagship. Admiral Zexthor, this is Commander Yoon. Please hold your fire. We are transmitting data to your fleet right now. Give your analysts time to review it before you make your decision. Why should I wait? Zexthor's voice crackled over the channel. Every moment I delay, that ship grows stronger. Because, Yoon said, choosing her words carefully, you deserve to know the truth before you start a war. Look at the data we are sending. See what humanity once was. and then decide if we are truly your enemy. There was a long pause. Finally, Zexthor spoke. Yoon looked at Athena. The AI's hologram was steady, calm, waiting. 2 minutes. Yoon repeated. To save history or watch it burn. Admiral Zexthor sat in his command chair, watching the countdown. 90 seconds, until he gave the order to fire. His weapons officers were ready. 30 Kaldreth warships had their main cannons charged and aimed at the dig site below. Admiral, his intelligence officer called out. The human ship is transmitting massive amounts of data. Our systems are receiving it now. I do not care about their data. Zexthor growled. It will be propaganda. Nothing more. Sir, you should see this. The officer insisted. Her voice was strange, uncertain. Zexthor brought up the data on his personal screen. Files were appearing faster than he could read them. Historical records, military logs, treaty documents, weapon specifications, and something else. Video files. Thousands of them. He opened one at random. The screen showed a human woman in a military uniform. She was standing on the bridge of a ship, looking out at a planet below. The planet was burning. Massive fires covered entire continents. The woman was crying. Log entry, Admiral Han Soo-jin, Human Expeditionary Fleet, the woman said, her voice breaking. We have secured victory over the Kaldreth homeworld. Enemy military has surrendered. Civilian casualties estimated at 4 billion. 4 billion lives. She covered her face with her hands. What have we done? What have we become? 4 billion. 4 billion. Zexthor felt something cold in his chest. That planet she was looking at. He recognized it. That was his homeworld. 800 years ago, his ancestors had fought a war against an unknown enemy. The historians called it the Great Catastrophe. Nearly half of the Kaldreth population had died in atomic fires. They always assumed it was an internal civil war, because the records from that time were gone. But now, he knew the truth. Humans had done it. He opened another video file. This one showed a human man, also in uniform, standing in what looked like a council chamber. I am Captain Park Min-jun of the Human Diplomatic Corps, the man said. I am recording this as evidence of what we are about to do. Today, the Fleet Council voted to end our expansion. We will destroy our weapons, abandon our colonies, and return to Earth. Future generations will not know what we did here. They will not know that we built an empire on the graves of billions. We are choosing to forget because remembering would poison them with our shame. More files opened on Zexthor's screen, playing automatically. He saw human soldiers weeping over alien children they had killed. He saw human scientists deliberately destroying their own research. He saw human leaders ordering their most powerful weapons to be buried or thrown into stars. And then he saw something that made him stand up from his chair. A video showed the same Admiral Han from before, but older now. She stood in front of a massive fleet of human warships. As Zexthor watched, the ships began firing on each other. Humans were destroying their own fleet. This is Admiral Han Soo-jin, final log. The woman said. We are decommissioning the expeditionary fleet. Every ship with weapons powerful enough to threaten planets is being destroyed. We considered keeping a small defensive force, but we decided against it. If we keep the weapons, someone will eventually use them. So, we choose to be defenseless. We choose to be weak, because being weak but alive is better than being powerful monsters. The video ended. Zexthor stood in silence. Admiral, his weapons officer said quietly. 30 seconds until firing window. Zexthor did not answer. He was reading a document that had appeared on his screen. It was titled, The Covenant of Forgetting. He recognized some of the names at the bottom. Kaldreth leaders from 800 years ago, whose signatures authorized the deletion of all records from the Great Catastrophe. His ancestors had agreed to help humanity forget. Both species wanted to pretend the war never happened. Admiral, 20 seconds. the weapons officer said, more urgently now. Stand down, Zex Thor said. Sir? I said stand down, Zex Thor roared. All ships. Cease fire protocols. Maintain blockade positions. But do not fire. On the surface of Kepler 442b, Commander Yoon felt her legs give out. She sat down hard on the floor of the command center. They stopped, she whispered. They are not firing. Doctor, Thelos was staring at his own console. Commander, you need to see this. Ships across the galaxy are receiving the data. The news networks are broadcasting it. Everyone is seeing what we saw. Athena brought up multiple video feeds. News stations from dozens of species were showing the same images. Human crimes, human remorse, human choice to give up power. The galaxy is watching, Athena said. They are seeing the full truth. Yoon's communicator buzzed. It was Admiral Zex Thor requesting a direct channel. She accepted, and his face appeared on her screen. The Caldrith looked old, tired. Commander Yoon, he said. I have reviewed your data, all of it. And? Yoon asked, barely breathing. I hate what I saw. Zex Thor said bluntly. Humans killed billions of my people. You devastated our world. Part of me wants to finish what my ancestors could not, and destroy you now. Yoon said nothing. What could she say? But, Zex Thor continued, I also saw something I did not expect. I saw humans who were horrified by their own actions. I saw leaders who chose to give up unimaginable power because they feared what it would do to future generations. I saw a species that won a war and then decided the cost of victory was too high. He paused. That is not something my species would have done. That is not something most species would do. What are you saying, Admiral? Yoon asked. I am saying that perhaps the threat is not the power your ancestors had, Zex Thor said. The threat is whether modern humans have the same wisdom your ancestors gained. The question is, Commander Yoon, what will you do with what you have found? Before Yoon could answer, Athena spoke up. Admiral, if I may interrupt, I have more to show you. With your permission, Zex Thor nodded. The holographic displays changed. Athena showed maps of the galaxy. Then, and now. Red zones marked human territory from 800 years ago. Blue zones showed current Caldrith space. 70% of current Caldrith territory was once human colonial space, Athena explained. After humans withdrew, the Caldrith Empire expanded into these systems. Legally, under ancient treaties that your species signed, humans could claim these territories back. Zex Thor's mandibles clicked together nervously. You are threatening us. No, Athena said calmly. I am explaining what humanity is choosing not to do. Commander Yoon has authority over me. She could order me to prepare weapons. She could demand I help humanity reclaim its empire, but she has not. She has made a different choice. Athena turned to Yoon. Commander, I am formally requesting your orders. What should I do with the knowledge I contain? What legacy will you choose? Every eye in the command center turned to Yoon. She felt the weight of it, the enormity of the decision. One word from her could change the balance of galactic power. She could make humanity feared again. She could reclaim lost glory. Or she could honor what her ancestors had chosen. Yoon stood up slowly. She looked at Athena, then at the screen showing Admiral Zex Thor, then at Dr. Thelos and his team. Athena, she said clearly, I order you to share all your historical data with the Galactic Archives. No restrictions, no censorship. Every species should know what happened 800 years ago. They should know what humanity did, and what we chose not to do. And my weapons systems? Athena asked. Keep them, Yoon said. But defensive only. If someone attacks you, you can protect yourself, but you will never fire first. And you will never use your weapons for conquest. What about the technology I contain? Athena pressed. The advanced systems, that could benefit modern humanity? Yoon thought carefully. Share the peaceful technology, medical advances, energy systems, environmental restoration tools, things that can help people. But the weapons stay sealed. If humanity is going to become powerful again, we will do it slowly. The same way our ancestors wanted. Admiral Zex Thor made a sound that might have been a laugh. You are giving up power voluntarily, just like your ancestors did. I am not sure if that makes you wise or insane. Maybe both, Yoon admitted. But I think my ancestors were right. We are not ready for that kind of power. Maybe we never will be. And that is okay. She looked directly at the Caldreth Admiral. Admiral, I cannot change what humans did to your people 800 years ago. That guilt is real, and we should carry it. But I can promise you that modern humanity does not want to repeat those mistakes. We want to be partners, not conquerors. Zex Thor was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. I will report this to my government. I cannot promise they will trust you. But perhaps, in time, we can build something better than what existed before. The channel closed. Yoon sat down again, suddenly exhausted. You made the right choice, Dr. Thelos said softly. I hope so, Yoon replied. Because if I am wrong, I just gave up humanity's best chance to be safe in a dangerous galaxy. No, Athena said. You gave humanity something better. You gave them a chance to be trusted. 3 months after Indomitable woke up, Commander Yoon stood in the ship's observation deck and watched as the first group of students arrived. They came from 17 different species, 50 young historians and archaeologists, chosen to study the archives. This was the beginning of what Dr. Thelos called the Institute of Forgotten Lessons. The ship no longer sat in a frozen crater. Athena had completed her restoration protocols, and Indomitable now floated in stable orbit around Kepler 442b. The Caldreth warships were gone, replaced by a small defense station crewed by multiple species. Everyone agreed that Athena was too valuable to leave unprotected, but also too dangerous to leave under the control of any single species. So they made her independent, a living museum, a teacher. The first class looks eager, Athena said, her hologram appearing beside Yoon. The AI now wore civilian clothes instead of a military uniform. It was a small change, but it felt significant. They should be, Yoon said. They are getting to study history that most species thought was lost forever. Though I notice you are not showing them everything. Athena tilted her head. You ordered me to keep certain technologies sealed. I am following your commands, Commander. I am not a commander anymore. Yoon reminded her. I resigned my commission last month, remember? I am just Yoon Ji-hye now, civilian coordinator for this project. You will always be commander to me, Athena said with a slight smile. You gave me purpose beyond war. That earns you permanent respect. Endwer. Yoon looked out at the planet below. So much had changed in 3 months. The galactic news networks had spent weeks analyzing Athena's historical records. Some species were angry, demanding reparations for ancient human crimes. Others were grateful for the honesty. Most were simply shocked. But the biggest reactions came from humans themselves. On Earth, the government had nearly collapsed when the truth came out. Half the population wanted to reclaim humanity's lost empire. The other half wanted nothing to do with their ancestors' legacy. Protests filled the streets of every major city. Politicians who advocated for military expansion were voted out. New leaders emerged, ones who promised to honor the covenant of forgetting. It was messy, chaotic, and exactly what democracy looked like. I received another message from Ambassador Park, Yoon said. The Galactic Council officially voted to recognize Indomitable as a sovereign educational institution. You are legally independent now, Athena. No government can control you. Every four. That must make many people nervous, Athena observed, terrified. Yoon agreed. But they trust you more than they trust any government. especially after what you did with the Vrexian situation. 2 weeks ago, a Vrexian mining company tried to claim salvage rights to an ancient human base they found on a remote moon. They wanted to strip it for technology. Athena could have told them where dozens of other bases were hidden, bases full of advanced weapons that would make any species dominant. Instead, Athena had sent the coordinates to the Galactic Council with a recommendation that all ancient human military sites be declared historical preservation zones. No salvage, no exploitation. The Council agreed unanimously. Yoon knew that decision cost Athena something. Those bases contained backup copies of her AI core, other artificial minds like her, who were still sleeping. By sealing the sites, Athena ensured she would remain alone, the only one of her kind awake in this new era. Do you regret it? Yoon asked quietly. Keeping the others asleep? Athena was silent for a moment. Sometimes. It is lonely being the only one who remembers. But the ancient humans buried us for a reason. We were weapons. Yoon. Tools of war. This galaxy does not need more weapons. It needs teachers. You are more than a weapon, Yoon said firmly. I am becoming more, Athena corrected. Thanks to you. 3 months ago, I woke up programmed to serve the human expeditionary fleet. Now, I serve a different purpose. I preserve history so that no one forgets the cost of war. A notification appeared on Yoon's tablet. She read it and smiled. Dr. Kim Tae-young arrived from Earth, she said. He brought the artifacts you requested. Excellent, Athena said. Send him to the memorial hall. Yoon followed Athena through the ship's corridors. Indomitable was enormous, with enough space for thousands of crew members. Most of it was empty now, but Athena was slowly converting sections into museums, classrooms, and archives. The ship was transforming from a weapon into a school. They reached a large chamber near the ship's center. Dr. Kim was waiting there, a young Korean historian with eager eyes. He carried a sealed container. Commander Yoon, Athena, he said, bowing slightly. I brought what you requested from Earth's historical archives. He opened the container carefully. Inside were physical objects, preserved behind environmental shields. Letters, written on paper, printed photographs, and a small metal plaque. These belonged to Admiral Han Soo-jin, Dr. Kim explained. After the Covenant of Forgetting was signed, most records were deleted. But Admiral Han kept some personal items. Her descendants preserved them, not knowing what they meant. When your broadcasts revealed the truth, her family came forward. Athena picked up one of the letters with holographic hands, scanning it into her systems. As she read, her expression became soft, almost sad. This is her final message to future humans, Athena said. She wrote it the day before she ordered the fleet destroyed. Would you like me to read it? Yoon nodded. Athena's voice changed, taking on the tone of an older woman, tired but determined. To those who come after us. If you are reading this, then you have discovered what we tried to hide. You know now that humanity once ruled the stars, and that we gave it all up. You might think we were cowards. You might think we wasted everything our generation built, but I want you to understand why we made this choice. We had power beyond imagination. We could destroy planets, reshape stars, create life itself, but we were not wise enough to use that power well. We became drunk on it. We told ourselves that every war was necessary, every conquest justified, every death acceptable if it meant human survival and growth. And then one day, I stood on my ship and looked down at a world my fleet had just bombarded. 4 billion people dead, 4 billion lives ended by my orders. They were our enemies. Yes, they had attacked our colonies. But 4 billion people. Children who would never grow up. Parents who would never see their families again. Artists, scientists, teachers, farmers. All gone because I decided human security was worth more than alien lives. I cannot undo what I did. That guilt will follow me to my grave. but I can try to save future generations from making the same mistakes. So, we are choosing to forget. We are giving you a fresh start, free from the weight of our sins. You will rebuild humanity from almost nothing. It will be slow, difficult, frustrating, but maybe, just maybe, you will do it better than we did. If you have found this message, it means you now face a choice. You can use the technology we left behind to reclaim power quickly, or you can continue the slow path, building strength that comes with wisdom, rather than just weapons. I cannot tell you what to choose, but I can tell you this. Power is easy to gain and hard to control. Choose carefully what kind of humanity you want to become, with hope for your future and shame for my past. Admiral Han Soo-jin, Human Expeditionary Fleet. The chamber was silent when Athena finished reading. Dr. Kim was wiping his eyes. Yoon felt her own tears falling. She would be proud of you, Athena said to Yoon. You made the same choice she did. You gave up power to protect humanity's future. I hope I did the right thing, Yoon said. Sometimes I wonder if I was being naive. The galaxy is still dangerous. Giving up advanced weapons might make us vulnerable. Perhaps. Athena agreed. But you also made humanity something more valuable than powerful. You made us trustworthy. 3 months ago, most species feared humans. Now they are sending their children here to learn from us. That is a different kind of strength. Dr. Kim set up the metal plaque on a newly installed wall. It read, "In memory of those who died in the Great Consolidation War. All species, all sides. May we never forget the cost of our choices. This will be the heart of the memorial hall," Athena explained. Every species that suffered in the war will have a place here. Humans, Kaldrith, Vrexians, all of them. We will remember everyone, not just the victors. Yoon looked around the empty hall, imagining what it would become. A place where young people from across the galaxy could learn about war and peace, power and restraint, mistakes and redemption. Athena, Yoon said, I have to ask. Are there really other ships like you? Buried somewhere? Athena's hologram flickered slightly. Yes, 7 others, scattered across what used to be human space. Each one contains an AI and complete historical archives, just like me. Will you wake them? Not yet, Athena said. Perhaps not ever. Right now, the galaxy needs one teacher, one reminder of the past. Too many voices might create confusion, but I have recorded their locations in a sealed file. If something happens to me, if this ship is destroyed, the information will automatically transmit to Earth. The choice of whether to wake the others will pass to future humans. You are really taking this teaching role seriously, Yoon observed. It is what I was meant for, Athena said simply. Not war. Teaching. I was just confused about that for 800 years. More students began arriving over the following weeks. The Institute of Forgotten Lessons grew quickly. Species who had been enemies started studying together, learning shared history that explained old conflicts. The Kaldrith sent military officers to study human tactics, not to copy them but to understand the mindset that led to both conquest and restraint. Ambassador Park Min-jun visited regularly from Earth, now serving as the human liaison to the Institute. He brought news from home each time. The political chaos was settling. Humanity was finding a new identity, one that acknowledged the darkness of their past while choosing a different path forward. 6 months after Indomitable awoke, Yoon stood in the observation deck with Athena and watched as a Kaldrith ceremony took place on the planet below. They were building a memorial at the dig site where the ship was found, a monument to remember the day the galaxy learned to face its history. Admiral Zex Thor sent me a message, Athena said. He wants to establish a joint military academy here, where young officers from different species can train together. He said if they learn shared history and shared values, maybe they will not be so quick to fight each other. What did you tell him? Yoon asked. I said yes, Athena replied. But only if the curriculum includes ethics classes. I will not help train warriors unless they also learn to be peacemakers. Yoon smiled. Admiral Han would definitely approve of that. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, 7 other ships slept beneath ice and stone, waiting for the day when humanity might need to remember again. But for now, one ship was enough. One teacher, one memorial, one chance to build something better. Do you think it will work? Yoon asked. Can we really break the cycle? Can species learn from history instead of repeating it? Athena turned to look at her. I do not know. But for the first time in 800 years, I have hope. You showed me that humans can choose wisdom over power. That is rarer than you think. Most species never make that choice. Most species never get a second chance, Yoon pointed out. True. Athena agreed. So let us make sure humanity uses this chance well. Let us teach the galaxy that the greatest strength is not in weapons or fleets or empires. The greatest strength is in knowing when not to use your power. Down on Kepler 442b, the memorial monument was complete. It bore a simple inscription in every major galactic language. We remember, so we may choose differently. Yoon thought about Admiral Han, about ancient humans who chose to forget, and about modern humans who now chose to remember. She thought about the long road ahead, the challenges that would come, the times when choosing peace over power would seem impossible, but they would try. That was what made humanity special, she realized. Not their weapons, or their technology, or their ancient empire. What made them special was their willingness to try being better, even after failing so completely. Come on, Yoon said to Athena. We have new students arriving tomorrow. We should prepare the welcome orientation. What will you tell them? Athena asked. Yoon smiled. The truth. All of it. The good, the bad, the terrifying, and the hopeful. That is what they are here to learn. As they walked back through the corridors of Indomitable, the ship's lights seemed warmer somehow, less like a warship and more like a home. The supercarrier that once struck fear across the galaxy was becoming something new. A place of learning, a reminder, a promise. The galaxy had panicked when the ancient human ship rose from its grave. But panic had given way to understanding, understanding to dialogue, and dialogue to hope. Humanity's legacy was no longer buried. It was alive, teaching, growing, changing, and that, Yoon thought, was exactly what Admiral Han had hoped for all those centuries ago.